Although they don't look too dangerous, moose are not to be trifled with. Today's video was requested by Cakester50. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Moose are the largest members of the deer family. The males of the species are called bulls, and they're easy to identify because of their giant antlers, which can spread 6 feet from end to end. Bulls use their antlers in fights or for display when competing for mates. The antlers are deciduous, meaning they undergo a painless process of falling off and growing back each year. A bull will typically shed its antlers each winter after mating season, which lasts from September to October. A pair of moose antlers can weigh up to 40 pounds. Moose are hooved animals that have massive bodies, short tails, long legs, and humped shoulders. Beneath their long rounded snouts, they have a flap of skin called a bell, which dangles from their throats. Moose bulls usually weigh from 850 to 1,550 pounds, while the females, known as cows, are smaller. The Alaskan subspecies is the tallest of all moose races, and it can reach an impressive shoulder height that may exceed 7 feet. A moose's fur provides excellent insulation from the cold and is usually colored black or brown. Number 4. Rodney Buffet. Canadian hunter Rodney Buffet got more than he bargained for while pursuing a moose bull in the woods of Newfoundland's southern coast. After spotting the animal, Buffet shot it twice, and both bullets reached their target. The moose went down and raised all 4 of its legs in the air. Buffet believed that the animal was dead. He placed his weapon on the ground and asked his fiancée, who had joined him on the hunt, to bring him his knives as he went to examine the bull. Unfortunately for the 38-year-old hunter, the moose still had some life in it. As soon as Buffet approached the animal, it charged him with its antlers, throwing him in the air. Buffet tried to hold on to his antlers to steer it away, but the animal took him to the ground and started stomping. The fight lasted about 5 minutes as Buffet's fiancée, who was too far away to intervene, watched it from a distance using binoculars. Buffet managed to kick the bull in the face a couple of times, which finally broke its attack. A medevac helicopter took the hunter to a hospital nearby, where he got stitches and staples on his head, chest, and hands. He made a full recovery, but was left with a temporary memento from his moose encounter in the form of a hoof mark on his forehead. Moose only inhabit places that have seasonal snow cover and generally prefer colder climates. They can't sweat, and the fermentation caused by their digestion creates a lot of heat. This means that they can't tolerate temperatures above 80 degrees Fahrenheit for too long. The largest moose populations are currently found in Alaska, New England, Canada, Russia, several Baltic states, and various regions of the Scandinavian peninsula. Their diets include leaves, bark, pine cones, twigs, and a range of aquatic plants. Moose are solitary animals and among the least social mammals on Earth. The only exception is during mating season, when some dominant bulls of the Alaskan subspecies have been known to create harem herds by herding a group of females together. Their position as herd leaders might be challenged by other bulls that will fight them for the right to mate with the females. Number 3. Chloe Metzger. 6-year-old Chloe Metzger was left with a broken clavicle and several back injuries after a moose chased and attacked her in the yard of her home in Eagle River, Alaska. According to the girl's mother, she and one of her friends were jumping on the trampoline in the yard. After a while, they decided to venture into the woods nearby, and that's when they came across a moose cow. The animal chased them back to the yard, and Chloe's friend managed to take shelter in a playhouse. Chloe didn't make it and was taken down by the animal, which began stomping on her back with its front hooves. The girl curled into a ball protecting her head. Chloe's father threw a log at the animal and stunned it, giving the girl enough time to run to the playhouse. He then threw a baseball bat, which caused the moose to run into the swing set that was attached to the playhouse and become entangled. The family ultimately managed to scare the animal away, and Chloe was taken to the hospital where she had surgery and was expected to make a full recovery. Not only are moose the largest of the deer species, they're also the most dangerous. Although they don't typically display an aggressive behavior towards humans, the sheer size of these animals is enough to make them a notable threat. Bulls during mating season and females with calves in tow have been known to attack people in situations where they perceive them as threats. Moose have a tendency to stand their ground rather than avoid confrontation, but enraged moose bulls might charge at you. Imagine the impact with an animal weighing well over 1,000 pounds with speeds of 35 miles an hour. In the highly unlikely scenario that won't kill you, the bull might still stomp on you or tear you apart with its antlers. Female moose use strong leg kicks to defend themselves. The force of their strikes, coupled with the sharpness of their hooves, is enough to cause serious injury and even death. Moose are especially dangerous for drivers, as numerous collisions have occurred throughout the northern hemisphere, particularly at night. The moose's dark coat and the fact that its eyes are too high up for drivers to see the light reflecting back make it very hard to avoid. The impact with the massive animal can be devastating. Most moose-related deaths are the result of vehicle collision rather than actual attacks. Number 2. Forensic mystery. According to case reports from the Journal of Forensic Sciences, Swedish authorities were puzzled by the case of a 60-year-old woman that had died under suspicious circumstances. The report states that the woman had been walking with her dogs in the woods. As time passed and she didn't return, her husband went looking for her and found her lifeless body by a lake. Her clothes had been torn and she had extensive wounds over her exposed limbs and torso, including a long, deep tissue cut from hip to knee. The investigative authorities found a smashed-up log nearby and bits of short hair on her face. An initial report suspected foul play, as there wasn't enough blood at the site to suggest an animal attack. It was suspected that the woman had been killed elsewhere and then dumped by the lake in a truck previously used for carrying a dead boar from a hunt. A lawnmower was believed to have been the murder weapon, even though the evidence added up. The explanation seemed unlikely. It was later revealed that the woman had actually died from flail chest, which is when the ribs collapse under great pressure, preventing normal breathing. Ultimately, DNA tests from the hairs found on the body revealed that a moose had been the culprit. It had probably chased the woman's dog, which went back to her for protection. The moose followed, attacked the woman, and gored her against the log before stomping her to death. As a driver, respecting all the rules of the road, including wearing your seat belt, staying sober and alert, and driving at slower speeds during nighttime while using your high beams whenever possible, increases your chances of avoiding collision with a moose. It's also worth mentioning that they are most active at sunrise and sunset. When you're on foot and faced with an aggressive moose, there are certain things you can do to ensure your survival. Avoid approaching females and their calves, as they tend to be highly protective. Moose are used to attacks from canine predators. If you have a dog with you, keep it on a leash, as there's a chance a moose will confuse it for a predator. Before an attack, a moose might display signs that include moving towards you, making grunting noises, stomping the ground, laying back its ears, or swinging its head back and forth. Unlike other animal confrontations, this is a situation in which running can actually help. You can maneuver around trees and rocks faster than a moose can. Finding a barrier between you and the moose is always a good idea. If it knocks you down, curl into the fetal position while protecting your vital areas, and don't get up until you're sure the moose is gone. Number 1. Brian Edwards. 42-year-old Brian Edwards from Bozeman, Montana was attacked by a moose around 50 yards from a cabin near Red Lodge where he was staying with his family. Edwards is believed to have died instantly when one of the animal's antlers pierced his left eye and went into his brain. Several antler marks were found on his body. Wildlife authorities didn't know why the attack had occurred, but a camera was found around his neck, and one of the theories is that he startled the animal while trying to take a picture. The attack took place in September 1999. Up to that point, decades had passed since the last fatal moose attack had occurred in Montana. As one wildlife biologist pointed out, fatalities are rare because people usually find a way to distance themselves from the moose by getting an obstacle in its path. Moose don't have predator instincts, but still may display an aggressive behavior and even chase a perceived threat.
Hey guys, it's Angelo, producer of this channel. I wanted to let you all know I've set up a Patreon account where I'll be offering very exciting and very exclusive bonus footage available only to people on Patreon. There, your voice will be heard regarding things you want to see and which direction I take my channel. Click on the end screen here to find out more, or on the link in the description below. Thanks guys, and I hope to see you on Patreon soon.